Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manata. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk.
Howdy and aloha, everybody. It is June the 13th, 2023. Let's see how Kamala's doing.
The joblessness and homelessness and health care that some people can get and others can't, and climate change that we are responsible for. And if we don't do something about it, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. And with that, and with that, and with that, and with that, and with that,
You know what? Whatever she's on, I want to try it. I bet. No, I don't. Okay. Um. So what's so funny? If you're serious, what's so fucking funny about any of that stuff, right? She's such. Just. Sabby Sabs had a great take on her. You guys got to watch Sabby Sabs. She's just. I don't know if to trust her anymore. Of course not. And that's you can't trust a lunatic, and she's a fucking lunatic. I mean, just listen to that. That's lunacy. This lady is completely lost her fucking gourd. She's laughing at this old lady asking for, whatever she can get. She's well, or who knows? She's an actor and she got something. Who fucking knows? All I'm saying is, when did that become funny? Healthcare. When did that become funny? And with that, oh god, it's just fucking and the COVIDian Dumbocratic base just laughs along with, oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that funny? No, it's not funny. It's not cute. You guys forget what you were fighting for? You guys all forget, right? Yeah, they forgot. And it's really sad. The mentality is just fucking nuts. Um, and then you have, oh God, where did I put? Okay. Yeah, so Jim Jordan has, and they're all questioning her, but these questions are just, it's like they're coming from a 3-year-old, a third grader, right? Or 3-year-old. Show the information first of that it doesn't stop the transmission. And you were censored for talking about that. You were censored for saying anything negative. According to YouTube, they follow whatever guidelines is set out by the World Health Organization, which is a bunch of people that are not elected officials. That's a fact. They aren't U.S. elected officials. However, YouTube is based in the United States. Yet they break and continually break the First Amendment rights in our own country. Continuously. Right? Class action lawsuit coming up. It's coming. Okay? If I say I'm going to do something, it's probably going to happen. Just telling you. I mean, I'm not perfect, but something like this, yeah, I'm getting people together, YouTube. I'm getting people together, and there's going to be a class action lawsuit for all the people that you went after for misinformation that you could not explain why. Not a single iota or indication or sentence or word on the exact reasons. However, you can have phone calls and conversations with your million people plaques, million subscriber plaques, that you would have and tell them exactly what they could or could not say. We all know that. But anybody else that had, 1,000, 2,000, 300,000, whatever, you rip people from, I'm on my 8th fucking channel, right? Because we're having discussions, we have our own thoughts, we rub our brain cells together and come up with our own thoughts, our own perspectives, conclusions, theories. Maybe they're off, maybe they're on it. Why would it fucking matter? Why would it matter if some guy that has fucking 120, 500 or 1,000 subscribers, he's not out there pushing pedophile porn that you guys fucking put up all the time. You guys allow the most, Russia still has YouTube channels. China still has YouTube channels. Right? Iran has YouTube channels that are still up and running. That have not been ever taken down. But people that are formulating their own conclusions or doing their own due diligence and research and actually going to the horse's mouth itself, questioning authority at its every turn, having the clarity and courage to do so. This is insanity. It's insane. The class action's coming. I'm just letting you know. Against YouTube. A bunch of people. It's coming. Be ready to start paying, because you're going to pay. So, Jim Jordan is questioning Zelensky, right? Walensky, Rochelle Walensky, who had recently resigned.
Do not carry the virus. Was that accurate?
It was generally accurate.
Generally accurate.
Wait. Generally accurate. So now they see. The thing what he's saying here is, let's look up what the word generally means. Right? Generally definition. I don't even think I'm spelling that right. Generally definition. And I even spelled definition wrong. God damn it. In most cases, usually, in general terms, without regard to particulars or exceptions. Generally means you don't know. You don't know. Okay? That's what generally means. Well, generally, it's almost saying, well, I guess. That's what it fucking means.
Why not just be accurate? Why not just tell the American people the truth? Why don't you say to the American people just what you said to me? We're big boys and girls. We pay your salary. The government is supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people. Why not just tell us the truth?
I was speaking.
Was 6 weeks later when you said if you were to get infected during...
Wait.
I was speaking.
Was 6 weeks...
See, look at her. She's like, I'm untouchable. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I can say whatever I want here. You know I'm untouchable. I got too much money. I got the World Economic Forum, ETAL, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Chatham House, Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg, G7, G20. I've got everybody behind me in this fucking New World Order crap. And that's why they smile and laugh.
Later when you said if you were to get infected during post-vaccination, you can't give it to anyone else. Was that accurate?
What was the date of that?
May 19, 2021.
At the time, we had the Wuhan strain and then the alpha strain. That was the alpha strain that was circulating. That was generally true, yeah.
Generally true again? Why not again? Why not tell the American people this is general?
Yeah, see right there. Why didn't they say it was generally true? By the way, I'm letting you know all this information because it's generally true. Right? Let's look at what it means. What does generally means? In most cases. Usually. Right? In most cases, usually. Right? So they never said that. They said, based on the data, which there wasn't any, based on the data, which there wasn't any, right, that anybody could see, because we had to sue for that, and they wanted to seal that data for 75 years. Right? And if you had a doctor that gave a shit about your health, you should have said, hey, why don't you look over the Pfizer documents first before you start making recommendations, and listening to them generally give you the general information, usually, mostly, kind of always kind of stuff. There are things that are happening with this little Kool-Aid thing that everybody was feared into and coerced into, right? There's a lot of physical effects that happened within hours, days, weeks, months, and years. We've had tons of women in regards to their menstrual cycles. It's even been printed out on the CDC. The CDC and the FDA and the NIAH and and Health and Human Services are all part of this. They definitely, along with the instructions from the World Health Organization, right? Let's be completely honest about this. Let's just be completely honest, because when you start answering questions with generally, when before you said it was a fact, before you said it was because of the data, which you didn't have, right? And then all of a sudden, it's just generally. Yeah, usually, kind of. Right? Taking something that's completely indemnified. You got people to take something that they could never sue on, because our own government and governments throughout the world agreed to it. By the way, you guys out there in the world, we want 2/3 of you, or 7 billion people out there, to take this thing that you can't sue for. You can't sue the doctor, you can't sue the nurse, you can't sue the manufacturer, you can't sue anybody. If something goes wrong, you're signing your life away. No other product had this clearance. Do you know of any product that's ever had this kind of clearance? And for you to take something, and for you to recommend to other people to take this, does that make any sense to you? Hey, I want you to take this. Let me just say this. Okay. The example I always use, a car. Hey, I want you to go buy this car. But if something happens, like the brakes don't work, or the gas doesn't work, and you can't move off of a railroad track, or brake before you get to a railroad track, and you get hit by a train, guess what? You can't sue that dealership. You can't sue that manufacturer of that car either, or the guy that sold it to you. How does that make any fucking sense? How does that make any sense? You recommended people across the world, celebrity after celebrity, Republicans, Democrats, Parliament, people in Canada, United States, Mexico, across the world, everywhere, right? All saying the narrative coming from the World Health Organization, following their guidelines, following their protocol, following their instructions. Unelected officials. Just some fucking entity that decides they want to fucking be the world police on medical everything. Right? Who put them in charge? Okay. Donald Trump stopped in 2018, I think it was 2018. He stopped giving money to them. He said, "No, I don't need them anymore." Then they started blaming him. Like, the reason why this has happened is because stop giving millions of dollars or billions or whatever to the WHO, because the U.S. used to be the biggest funder to the World Health Organization. And then Trump dropped out of that little agreement and said, fuck you. I know what you're fucking doing, or whatever his reasons were, right? At the time, I don't really know that part. But Biden comes back in and and starts doing it again. I sell you. Let's just say I make something for you. Okay, I'm going to do it again because some people won't get this. I'm going to make a roller skate for you, and I'm going to sell it to you. You go down the street, the wheels fall off, the thing breaks in pieces, and you hurt yourself. Right? Who are you going to sue? Me. You should. I created a product. I gave you something that was dangerous. I knew it was dangerous. I didn't do any testing on it. You guys getting this now? Right? And I still gave it to you. Because I told you everything else wasn't working. These other roller skates don't work. So I took out the regular boop boop Kool-Aid solution that people were taking from Jimson and Jimson, right? And I said, oh, that's bad. So we put a bad name on that. And then we took down hydrochloroquine and said that's bad, which it obviously was not. Ivermectin, and all the, and then so in order to get the use authorization, emergency use authorization, we had to make sure everything out there looked and appeared to be bad and not good, which they did a great job doing. And then here it comes, and this is where I fucking need the Republicans to make sure they can get Trump to admit fault on this. He went in, all in. He bought Johnson & Johnson and Moderna or Pfizer. Where is it? Hang on. I'll tell you right now. I just want to make sure I'm getting it straight. Wait, right now. Not there. Dang it, slides. Oh, God, trying to make this quick. In July and August, I believe it was. All right. Let me go back to here. Yes, the whole questioning was stupid. I'm just saying, in regards to it was ridiculous, right? It was freaking ridiculous. Let me just jump back over here. Oh, Trump's a tool. I think Trump still needs to do some answering, people. He still needs to do some fucking answering, in my opinion, right? You guys want to put him out there as your Lord and Savior? Okay. He mentioned today finally that he's not with the globalists, which is good, right? But was he prior? I think so. I think he was, but he needs to come out and say, look, I'm not perfect, which he's never gonna fucking do. That's like asking asking Santa Claus not to deliver presents on Christmas. That's not gonna fucking happen. Where is it? I got it right here. It's up there. Yeah, it's right here. So I gotta make this bigger. And I will. So y'all can read it. Axios reported. Gosh darn it. Oh, I got you. All right. And this was on August 11th, 2020. Trump administration buys 100 million doses of Moderna vaccine. This is Axios. This is a democratically DNC ran publication, for sure. Right? And then in Trump administration orders 100 million doses of Pfizer COVID vaccine. And that was on July the 22nd of 2020. Okay? I want you guys just to keep that in mind. Okay? I want you to keep that in mind. The reason I want you to keep it in mind is because we've had a lot of, and he just talked about this the other day. He just talked about the acceleration of people having a hard time, and I think I got that. You know what? It's worth it to get it. Please excuse me because I really want to show you this. By the way, and I got to say this, don't do a side by side in TikTok. I don't really need to see you. I want to see what you're bringing. Thank you for bringing it. I will put a heart on there and like it and comment, right? But I don't need to see you laying floppily in your bed while some other pertinent and probably valuable information comes up. I swear to God, it's just not even needed. I don't know if you're doing it to get fame or you want to get attention or whatever the fuck it is. It's not helping anybody. You're sitting there going, "Oh, you need to check this out." They're pointing and they're making shrugs and it's like, I don't care what your opinion is. I care about the information that you're trying to share with me. That's what I care about. Okay? Now your perspective may not be the same perspective I have or the same feeling that you're getting from this. I may have a different take. I might see right through the bullshit, or maybe I might already know about it. Or who knows what I have to offer in regards to how I perceive all this stuff. But I'm just saying, for you to be on this fucking just doesn't make any sense, by the way. All right. So, as I keep scrolling here, Putin, China. I know I put it up here. I'm going to have it in a second. Oh, yeah, this is one of my good ones. Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who question your ability to serve? Can you help me up? DIYliberty.org. Getting distracted. Sorry. Alright. I'm watching. Let me see. That's my son, by the way. Jesus Christ. 6'6". He was just a monster. Good looking kid. I know I put it in here. Yes, I would love to see that. But don't get your fucking panties in an uproar when it doesn't happen, because there's a lot of money and power behind these people. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, like I keep saying, you've got to get out on the street. You've got to protest. Stop the WEF.org, right? If you're in a group of people, then you better make sure that group of people that you're with are solid, loyal, and hopefully nobody will be compromised, because it's happened to every fucking movement that's ever existed. Okay, do the homework on that, please. There it is right here. Breaking news announces. Most of it. Yeah, there it is. Now let's listen to him.
In recent decades, there has been an unexplained and alarming growth in the prevalence of chronic illnesses and health problems, especially in children. We've seen a stunning rise in autism, autoimmune disorders, obesity, infertility, serious allergies, and respiratory challenges. It's time to ask, what is going on? Is it the food that they eat, the environment that we live in, the overprescription of certain medications? Is it the toxins and chemicals that are present in our homes? Every year we spend hundreds of billions of dollars to treat these chronic problems rather than looking at what is causing them in the first place. Too often our public health establishment is too close to big pharma. They make a lot of money, big pharma.
I like that.
Big corporations and other special interests, and does not want to ask the tough questions about what is happening to our children's health. If big pharma defrauds American patients and taxpayers or puts profits above people, they must be investigated and held accountable. When I'm back in the White House, I will establish a special presidential commission of independent minds who are not bought and paid for by big pharma, and I will charge them with investigating what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illnesses. I understand big pharma, I believe, better than anybody else. I know where they're coming from. And then I will ask them to publish recommendations on what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illnesses. I understand big pharma, I believe, better than anybody else. I know where they're coming from. And then I will ask them to publish recommendations on increase in chronic illnesses. I understand big pharma, I believe, better than anybody else. I know where they're coming from.
You do know where they're coming from.
And then I will ask them to publish recommendations for how every American child can have a safe and healthy childhood. This is a conversation that is long overdue, and it's a conversation that American families deserve. American families must have this conversation, and they must have a leader, a president, who can do something about this problem. And I...
Okay. You must have a leader. Somebody to lead you to the promised land. Well, that's just the way our system is up. But here's... Oh, I can push play. That's important. All right. Doing this again. Why is this doing this again? Oh, it's got to take time to load, I think. Jiggle, jiggle. It goes.
Army with harmony.
There's your answer, bro. That would be your answer. Crapola. I hate when it just automatically jumps to the next fucking thing. I fucking hate that. Oh my god. I gotta go back in here and find it again. For fuck's sakes, man. Not favorites. Be profile. TikTok has a lot of glitches. It's pretty bad. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here. Okay, here we go.
Army with harmony.
All right.
Army with harmony.
Stop it. Hold on. I just like that song. You down with OPP? Who's down with OPP? All right. So what changed in the last 30 years, Trump? Let me tell you what changed. Disease or disorder. These are true factual information from Statiscat or Scat. I forgot the name of it, somewhere. ADHD, which is, from my perspective, completely made up. It's just completely fucking made up. Alzheimer. This is the increase. 819%. Alzheimer. 299%. Autism. 2,094% raise in the last 30 years. Right? The reason why this happened, right, is because this is when, and just look at all these other things: bipolar, celiac disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, which is bullshit, depression, bullshit, diabetes. Well, it's all chemically induced, right? A lot of that is chemically induced. The water has crap in it. It's shitty fucking water. Go to ewg.org/tap water or water. Put in your zip code and see how shitty your water is. The worst water in the United States, besides Flint, Michigan, is the happiest place in the world, which is Disneyland. Isn't that odd? Where the kids, where all your food and water that they use to make their food and clean their food is the worst. Isn't that odd? Right? The worst, I mean, they have like 20 fucking something past the threshold of poison. I mean, just look it up. Diabetes, fibromyalgia, hypothyroidism, lupus, osteoarthritis, right? Sleep apnea. I mean, the list goes on. But this is about when Fauci started taking control, right? Things started getting worse when he started coming in control. But it's basically, the answer is, and here's the answer: the FDA, the CDC, the NIH, the Health and Human Services approved and distributed. Even your water quality inspectors. I should put the USDA in there and just whatever. Distributed, they approved, and distributed poisonous food, water, medications, and vaccines. There it is. I said the word. I'm probably gonna have to put this on Odyssey now. They fucking hate me because I'm telling you what's going on. I am called what's called to them, and this is what they've said in investigations that have come up through. Uh, Republican have brought this out in a lot of our meetings on how a person like me that brings you information like this, that's from their own source, and then completely sees the dots that are connected to clearly indicate the exact conclusion or the answer of what it should be, is they're all corrupt. They're all corrupted. Most of the funding comes from big pharma to the CDC. How could your government even allow that? How is that even possible? Right? The entire system, okay, Mr. Trump, is that's the problem, bro. Okay, that's the issue.
Is it the food that they eat, the environment that we live in, the overprescription of certain medications? Is it the toxin of certain medications? Is it the overprescription of certain medications? The environment that we live in, the overprescription of certain medications? Is it the toxins and chemicals that are present in our homes? Every year we spend...
It's everything. This is what I believe. Okay, this is just me. Okay, maybe I should run for an office. I don't. And I've said this in like forever, ever since I started my Blog Talk Radio in 2014. I started when I started my YouTube in late 2016. And by the way, I'm on my 8th channel due to the Ministry of Truth, the YouTube. How come we don't have the cleanest, most purest water on the planet? We're like the most powerful country. We're the most richest country, right? How come we don't have the most organic, most nutrient foods on the planet? Anybody ask that question? I mean, if you had that, you could leap through universes, right? You'd be that powerful. If you had, and I mean that our fruits and vegetables should and absolutely be the cleanest, most purest things on the planet. You know, Monsanto is just a device of death, right? We know that. Everybody knows that. Dow Chemical is, in many ways, is a giant device of death, you know, and so many others. There's ways before nine. Let me show you this, and this is important for everybody to kind of look at. This is back in. Where is it? It's right here. I got it in my cluster of stuff. I think it was like right. I'm probably looking at it, but I'm just going over it and missing it. That's probably what's happening. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. I'm close. I'm getting close. Nope. Nope. No. It's right up here because I think I put it in this area. No. Yeah, this still happens. I got to show this one. This is just funny. So we're using they're putting paper straws in a plastic wrapper. This whole fucking climate change shit is such a whack of fucking bullshit. And I bought it. I remember buying it. A lot of people bought it. You know, it's very hard. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I'm being honest now. A lot of people were fooled, like by the bazillions. In fact, of course, the one I'm looking for is here. I just can't freaking find it. It's probably, oh, there it is. Oh, right in the very back. Okay. Move to top. We're going to make this a little bigger so we can read it. All right. And I'll make it quick. And I am going to try to read it as best possible here. So, and hopefully you guys can see it and read it too with me. Read with me. The Flexner Report, 100 years later. Thomas P. Duffy, MD, Yale School of Medicine, New Haven, Connecticut. The Flexner Report of 1910 transformed the nature and the process of medical education in America with a resulting elimination of proprietary schools and the establishment of the biomedical model as the gold standard of medical training. This transformation occurred in the aftermath of the report, the Flexner Report, which embraced scientific knowledge, scientific quote unquote knowledge, and its advancement as the defining ethos of the modern physician. Such an orientation had its origins in the enchantment with German medical education that was spurred by the exposure of an American educators and the physicians at the turn of the century to the university medical schools of Europe. American medicine profited immensely from the scientific advancement that this system allowed. But the hyper-rational system of German science created an imbalance in the art and science of medicine. All catching up is underway to realign the professional commitment of the physician with a revision of the medical education to achieve that purpose. Basically, what it's saying that they took out the old stuff and put in the new system, and it kind of goes like this. One of the 100 years of medical fascism, regardless of the scandalous circumstances, state medical board and legislatures used this report as a basis for closing medical schools. Around the time of the Flexner came, there was a high of 166 medical schools. By the 1940s, there was just 77, a 54% reduction. Most small rural schools were closed, and only 2 African American schools were allowed to remain open. By 1963, despite advances in technology and a huge growth in demand, one effect of the report was to keep the number of doctors per 100,000 people in the United States at the same level it was at in 1910. Of the approximate 375,000 physicians in practice in 1977, only about 6,300, or 1.7%, were African American, by the way, just to let you know. So, how the Flexner Report hijacked the natural medical science. This is how it really went down. There were no real effective governmental agencies in place monitoring the state affairs within the medical community. So what Flexner did at the behest of the robber barons, he did so in favor of profits rather than the long-term care of patients. He effectively created culture and enabled the monetization of medicine. So this is when they got rid of there's more to this, a lot of holistic and ancient practices, like from, a shaman or a kahuna or, a village doctor that had been working for a long time. There's natural remedies that still work to this day, that are still very helpful, which you can find all over, usually TikTok nowadays. Some on Twitter, some on YouTube, very rarely. But they totally re-transformed the medical industry, and then they started transforming other industries as well to fit their agendas, just like they're doing now, but at warp speed. Okay, just like now, but at warp speed. Because the only people that are benefiting from this, as I've told everybody in the past, is the parasitic elite, the narcissistic pedophilia, parasitic elite. And it's just really sad. It's just really, really disgusting. These people just totally ransacked all medicine out there, and they made their medicine and their systems and their processes the gold standard. That was backed by Rockefeller and a few other people. And this has been the way it's been for a long time. But they've had a lot of opportunities from what I've read in other articles out there, to go back to, and some have gone back to more natural and holistic and tribal methods. But those people get canceled out quick. As a matter of fact, a lot of them got killed. There was, you would not be surprised how many people that are like the big proponents of holistic medicines and natural medicines and stuff like that have left the earth just haphazardly. It's fucking happened many times. So there's a big push, and when money's involved with this, when you get this mafia that's happening out there, there's your answer, Mr. Trump. There's your answer. You're basically it's a big fight. You're basically going to need to start from the very basics first. So if he was to say you deserve nothing but the freshest, most purest spring type water, nothing but the most freshest and best meat and poultry and fish and vegetables and fruits and all that stuff, I mean, he would have everybody just, salivating, right? No more GMOs, no more of these modified foods. By the way, broccoli is GMO'd. Fucking, your watermelon is GMO'd. A lot of things, to a certain extent, have been GMO'd, right? But the problem is, it's what they're putting into it as well to make it redder, give it more filling. If you're buying a hamburger at McDonald's, you don't know what the fuck you're getting. You really don't know what the fuck you're getting. Which is odd, because it was odd that only McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants were the only places that were open during a pandemic, right? So my answer to you, Mr. Trump, in regards to him talking about all the crap that's happened to us for the past 30, 40 years, and why we're becoming sicker and sicker, is because that big pharma, big hospital, big elderly care, right? They don't make money off of healthy people, right? I want you to go back and look at pictures of the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and then it kind of fall apart in the 90s, about the time that he's talking about. I don't remember fat people. I think I was the fattest person. I was like the fattest person in the 80s that I ever thought. Yeah, I just thought I was fatter. Thought I was a fat motherfucker. And as I look back at it now, I'm just like, no. Now you're fat, but you weren't before. But that's the thing, is I just believe that if this guy would, oh man, it's just, if he could just say, let's do that. Let's make this the most, not sinner, singer. That's funny. All right. Biddy bing 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 ding ding. Oh, that's my son right there. Jesus Christ, what the fuck, dude? I thought this was so impressive. It was on my last show too. But he said this to me. This is my son, 6'6", 250, or I don't know, fucking just big motherfucker. To get something you haven't had, you have to do something you haven't done. I thought that was fucking brilliant. I thought that was just very astute for an 18-year-old. Just letting you know. Impressive. Impressive.
I now recognize Mr. Jordan from Ohio.
I was speaking.
Was 6 weeks later when you said,
Look at her smiling. It's all good. Just smiling like nothing's going to happen to her. Yeah, that needs to change. I just don't believe they're going to do anything. That's my biggest concern. I don't think anything's going to happen to this woman. As I stated here, or put in print, yeah, nothing will happen to her or Fauci or Bill Gates, the WHO, the NIH, the CDC, the FDA, the Health and Human Services, and all these severely corrupt criminal entities, right? Government, non-government, whatever. I just don't see anything happen. Nothing's happened. Has anybody from the FBI, anything happened with them yet? That's the one that got taken down, by the way. Anything happened with those people? Anything? Bueller? No. Right? Nothing's happening to anybody. It's just a show. It's still a show. It's terrible. It just continues and continues and continues. And it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't fucking stop. Let me go. Yeah. You know, you got to call your representative and say, stop. You guys got to do something. This is just nonsense. It's just fucking nonsense. Nothing's happening to anybody. I don't see any accountability. I don't see any justice. You know, the Department of Justice is completely compromised. The FBI, of course, is completely compromised. It just never fucking stops. It just never stops. And I just keep telling people, you know, you just gotta freaking you've gotta get out there and protest. You know, they need to see action. Right? Because they need to see action, for sure. Yeah. I took out my AR-10 today. 308, baby. 308. Oh my God, that thing is such a beast. Such a beast. But it's fucking just the funnest thing to fucking shoot. I swear to God. And I've shot all kinds of guns. 300 mag and pythons, and I think the biggest hand goes to 45, a 38 special. Shotguns, 410, 12 gauge. That's got kick for sure. The 12 gauge. The AR-15. What else? A few others. Right? But man, that fucking AR-10 is a fucking beast. Just awesome. It's just awesome. Alright, I guess she's not coming on, so I'm going to get off. I am done. I think I proved my point. There's so much more to go over. Which I'll go over Thursday. And so Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays I should be on for as long as I can. Bringing you the up-to-date information on how screwed you guys are being. Oh, wait, what the fuck is happening here? What's going on here? With what else are they doing? Let's find out. Let's find out what else they're doing.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response.
Yeah.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms.
There's a brief on it. So everything that they are doing, they're blaming me or you or others. They are calling, this is the typical pot calling the kettle black just all day long. If you're not in line and doing what you're supposed to be doing the way we want you to, the authoritarian way, then you're part of the problem. That's all. That's what they're saying. You know, Sophia Dahl knows that, and everybody else knows that. This is just insane. This is insane. This New World Order, Great Reset, 2030 agenda stuff is not a fucking joke. These people are now the United Nations. This is a military group, right? The UN is fucking blue hat military. As I had sent information to Ryan Christensen about this over 2 years ago, said, look at, this is how they're going to set it up. You know, and he went to it, I think he went into it a few times in a couple of his shows. So they're going to use force. At some point, they're going to use force. And I'm ready. A lot of people are ready. But we need it to not get to that. That is my biggest point. We don't need, we want not a revolution. We don't want a revolution. We just want our public servants who are claiming that they're doing something for us, right? Like this guy, you know, he's just putting on the show, right? But nothing's happening to these people. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's indicted, right? Anybody get fired? Josh Hawley just talked about that today. Is anybody getting fired from the FBI in regard? No, nothing's happening. No. I mean, it's, you guys got to get out there. I don't know what else to tell you. We got to get out there. We got to get on the streets. We got to start picketing by the hundreds of millions across the world. When they show up to your doorstep, you're gonna wish you fucking did something earlier. That's my point. That's my biggest point today. And that's gonna be my point ever since I started doing this fucking show. You know, I went to a fucking Pink Hat rally back in 2018, or was it 2017? And I kept yelling, "Hey, stop Citizens United!" You know, and like out of definitely 50 people that could definitely hear me because I'm loud. Like one or two might say, "Oh yeah, get rid of this," which they agreed upon. A couple of them, but nobody understands what that did. Until you remove money from politics, the campaigns, and all this other stuff, they're still going to put on these shows, and nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. So now you got to get on the street. Got to go fucking protest, right? And do it the right way. You're an individual. You have your every right to do it the way you should, right? And I lay it all out right here, right? All on this website. Pretty simple. Pretty simple process. Just go down and you'll see how it all works. When, how, where, why you're doing it, processes. And it's all right here. I mean, just go to it, check it out. Go under stopthewef.org or DIYliberty.org. It's the only way this is going to happen. We're at that point. There's just so much shit happening. It's so fucking crazy, right? There's just so much. It's hard to get through. To fit everything that they're doing, the chaos that the World Economic Forum, ETAL, and all their cronies and buddies and pedophile fuckers that nobody, in my last show, I clearly indicated. It's up on Odyssey now, I believe. I think I put it on Odyssey. If not, I'm going to do it today. But Ghislaine Maxwell, none of the Johns that were going after these children, not one of them had been brought into the courtroom, cited, ticketed, handcuffed, prosecuted, indicted, anything, nothing, not a single one. Well, how does that go with like illegal prostitution in certain states? The John will definitely be hit first. Isn't that interesting? Don't you guys find any of that interesting? Right? Yeah, because they're all fucking, a lot of these people that are in office are all fucking part of it. And I will guarantee you that a lot of these fuckers that went against Tucker Carlson's January 6th information, a lot of these motherfuckers are definitely part of it. Right? All the guys that said, oh, no, don't show that. Don't show that. Right? Tom Tillis, Kevin Kramer, Mitt Romney, Mike Rounds, John Kennedy, who people think he's great. He's not. Of course, Dan Crenshaw, John Thune, Lindsey Graham. These are the people that came out. And there was a chick here, I don't know who that was. But anyway, there's a lot of serious criminal corruption. And this happens in many governments, and all this has just got to stop. It's got to stop. It's gotten so bad that now
puts forward
they're
a framework
threatening us.
for a concerned
This is a
international
threat.
response.
This is a threat. I don't know how you want to handle this.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate
Yeah.
to billions of people.
This
This
is-
clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on
Global action. This is the Restrict Act across the globe. That's what this is. Right? And who runs the World Wide Web? The government. Okay? So when I see people that say, oh, they're going to start their own quantum financial system, I tell them, what are you, fucking stupid? Seriously. Seriously, you really think that's going to work? Right?
My money don't jiggle, jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure. Makes me want to dribble, dribble, Riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack, but luckily the seats go.
So the new quantum financial system, which is being pushed, it's fear-backed, like I'm afraid, like you're afraid. They're trying to scare you into using this system. Quantum computing technology and blockchain technology to conduct financial transactions. What's the difference? That's all online. It's just crypto. Right? Ask anybody, it's fucking crypto. The new quantum financial system is a global international monetary system that uses quantum computing, blah, 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 blah. Quantum computing? What, AI? Right?
But my money don't jiggle, jiggle.
Through the World Wide Web that the government controls. Right?
It folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure. Makes me want to dribble, dribble.
So, if there is no tangible autonomous currency, tangible like folding money, it folds, like you see it jiggle, jiggle, then there's no difference from the CBDC or central bank digital currency, which is now FedNow. Be careful what you wish for. Right? If you don't have something you can stash away in a fucking mattress that holds value, I mean, if Trump came out and said he wants to go back to the gold standard and bring back the dollar and make it more powerful, then that is huge. I haven't heard him say that yet. But he did say something Maybe I can find that. Oh, there's Eric Schmidt. See what he's got
What
to
they
say.
can say, what they can hear, and what they can see. Censorship is on the rise. The desire of governments and powerful elites to control speech is hardly new, but America has always stood as the exception. Long before the Revolutionary War, Americans witnessed the oppression of speech. More than 1,200 times before 1700, the British prosecuted and punished Americans for what they called seditious speech. Sedition laws prohibited criticism of the government based on the idea that that criticism could inflame the public against the government. But as the Revolutionary War approached, colonists began standing up for free speech. Colonial juries began refusing British requests to issue indictments for criticizing the government. They acquitted individuals accused of criticizing the government. They tossed tea into the harbor to protest taxes, and we printed publications denouncing the king. We were on our way. We, the American people, wanted to protect free expression of ideas, and we did so in the very first amendment to the Constitution. We protected it not just for peaceful times, but especially in times of crisis, or so-called emergencies. It's easy to forget how fortunate we are here in America to have the First Amendment and how terrifying it is to see how frequently now it's being violated. Recently, government actors colluded with big tech companies, some of the biggest companies and most powerful companies in the history of the world, to censor and deplatform individuals for not buying into the approved narrative. And whether you agree with that narrative or not is hardly the point. The point is, it's incredibly dangerous. Suppression of speech and censorship is justified now as it has always been, but with a new lexicon, calling it misinformation or disinformation. But the goal is still the same: power and control. We saw the Department of Homeland Security recently attempt to set up an Orwellian disinformation governance board. We saw individuals silenced and suspended from platforms at the government's behest for challenging the validity of mask mandates and lockdowns, or for questioning the official narrative as the origins of COVID-19, for simply speaking their minds. It's not the government's job to tell us what we can hear or what we're supposed to believe. Each one of us can make those decisions ourselves. Period.
Period. Wow. Good job. Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt. Wow. I'm gonna fucking share that. That was fucking.
The freedom to speak your mind in the public.
My senator nails it. Right? He nails it. And I'm going to fucking put that everywhere. That needs to be everywhere.
Square or virtual town square is vital to the health of the republic. And far too many Americans are being told what they can say.
Outstanding. Mahalo. For sure. That was
what they can hear and what they can see. Censorship is on the rise.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Thursday night, I'll be on at about the same time. Trying to get to bed a little early. Changing the clock a little bit. Hours are still the same at work, but this is better. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. If you've ever listened, if you ever pay attention, thank you. Do what you can to get out there and protest, for sure. Do what you can, as I've always said, right? As I've always said, you have got to go out and call, right? I know the number of my heart because I've called it a bunch of times. It's 202-224-3121. And you're going to tell your representative, House, Senator, whoever, probably the intern, and say, we don't want CEI. We do not want ESG. We do not need DEI or the WEF or the WHO to tell us what to do. And for God's sakes, no way to the CBDC and the Restrict Acts and stay the fuck away from our guns. Right? That's it. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Mahalo. Aloha. Oh, that's a lovely picture. My message to all young people during Pride Month: you are loved. Look at that. I've never seen him so happy. You are heard, loved, heard, understood. You belong. Of course, everybody does. But not with our children, you fucking piece of shit pedophile motherfucker.